Hello everyone, welcome back to Physics HQ. This is Professor Sandeep, your tutor for the Class 11 series. As mentioned in our overview video of Class 11 series, today we'll be starting off with textbook unsolved sums of Chapter 1, Units and Measurement. So let us start with the first sum. The masses of two bodies are measured to be 15.7 with an error of 0.2 and 27.3 with an error of 0.3. What is the total mass of the two and the error in it? So let us say m1 is the mass of first body, which is 15.7 kg, and there is this error in this, which is how much? Plus or minus 0.2 kg. m2 is given as 27.3 kg and error in the second mass is 0.3 kg plus or minus. So they have asked total mass of the two. Total mass, let us say it is given by m. That will be equal to m1 plus m2. So that is very simple. 15.7 plus 27.3. That gives us 40 kg. This is the total mass. Next, we are supposed to find total error as well. So total error in this will be delta m1 plus delta m2. This will give you the total error, and this will be plus or minus. So we will have plus or minus. Let us add the errors, 0.2 and 0.3. This will give us 0.5 kg. So this is the total error in the mass. I hope you all understood this. Please remember, whenever you have errors in addition over here, simply add the errors to get the total error. Let us go ahead. The distance traveled by an object in time 100 seconds with an error of 1 second is 5.2 meter with an error of 0.1 meter. What is the speed and its error? Speed is given by distance upon time. Now remember over here, the errors are in the form of division. So if errors are in the form of multiplication or division, in that case what we will do is, we will find out the relative error in this. Speed over here can be directly calculated. Speed is distance upon time. So we got distance 5.2 and 100 seconds. This will give us 5.2 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter per second as the speed, or you can write it as 0.052 meter per second. This is the speed. Now let us find out the error in the speed, and that we will find out by using relative error ka formula. So we have delta S upon S, which is nothing but relative error. This is equal to delta D upon D and delta T upon T. So this is how we find relative error, total error over here. We take the addition of relative errors. Now delta D is 0.1 and D is 5.2. Likewise delta T is 1 upon 100. Now what you can do is, you can simplify this by cross multiplying. What we will have? We will have 10 plus 5.2. When you multiply 100 with 0.1, you will get 10 plus 5.2 divided by 5.2 into 100 will give us 520. So we got 15.2 divided by 520. Now we can solve this by using log. What we will get is, we will get 0.029 meter per second. This is the relative error, and this will be plus or minus. Okay, if you are not good with log, or if you have some problem in understanding log, please go through the video on how to use logbook to solve sums by clicking on the I icon on the top right. So let us go ahead with the next sum. An electron with charge E enters an uniform magnetic field B with a velocity V. The velocity is perpendicular to the magnetic field. The force on the charge E is given by F is equal to BeV. We are supposed to find the dimension of B. So we have formula as F is equal to BeV. So we can write B is equal to F upon EV. So by using the dimensions of force, charge and velocity, what we can do is, we can find dimensions of B. So let us go ahead. First of all, we'll find dimension of force. Dimension of force is given by L1 m1 t raised to minus 2. So if you want to know how it came, force is nothing but mass into acceleration. Mass is having unit kg and acceleration is having unit meter per second square. Because of this kg, we have m raised to 1, mass ka power 1. Because of this meter, we have L raised to 1, and seconds ka square is in denominator. Therefore, we have written t raised to minus 2. Next, velocity is meter per second, and the dimension from this will be L1 t minus 1. Length raised to 1 and time raised to minus 1 because seconds is in denominator. Lastly, we have charge. Now charge is given by current into time. Current is nothing but rate of change of charge or rate of flow of charge. Current is given by this formula, I is equal to Q by T. Over here we have an electron, therefore we have E by T, right? So from here we have E is equal to I into T. Now current is having unit as ampere, time is having unit as second. Now when we write this in dimension, I raised to 1 and second will be T raised to 1. So let us go ahead and put it over here in this equation. For force we got L1 M1 T raised to minus 2. For charge we have I1 T1. For velocity we have L1 T minus 1. Now if you see, we can cancel out few things over here. This T raised to 1 and T raised to minus 1 will cancel out from the denominator itself. You got L raised to 1 in the numerator and L raised to 1 in the denominator. So they will also cancel out. So there is no length. So we'll write L raised to 0, M raised to 1, T raised to minus 2. And we are left with this I term in the denominator. When we will take it up, it will become I raised to minus 1. So this is the dimension of B over here. I hope you all understood this. Let us go ahead with the next sum. A large ball 2 meter in radius is made up of a rope of square cross section with edge length as 4 mm. Neglecting the air gap in the ball, what is the total length of the rope to the nearest order of magnitude? So first of all, what we have is we have sphere with radius 2 meter, and what they have given is this sphere is made up of this rope. Okay. So what we can say is when you have one object made from another object, what happens is the volume remains same. So I can write volume of rope will be equal to volume of sphere. Now volume of sphere is given by the formula 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now let us talk about the volume of rope. So over here they have given that the rope is having a square cross section somewhat like this, and this is how the rope is. Okay. So how do you find the volume of this? So imagine this of the form of a cylinder. How do you find volume of a cylinder? Volume of cylinder is given by pi r square into L या फिर H. Okay? Pi r square is this cross section area and length or H is this part. So over here also what we'll do is we'll find the volume by using the same analogy. This will be the cross section area. Okay? And the cross section over here is square. So area of this part will be side square, and we will multiply this by length to get the total volume. So the volume of rope will be given by cross sectional area into length. Now we are supposed to find out the length of the rope to the nearest order of magnitude. So let us keep L over here and everything else on the other side. So we got 4 by 3 pi r is given as 2 ka cube divided by area for this cross section is, as I said, side ka square. The side of square is given as 4 mm. Okay, or we can write it as 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter. So what we'll have is 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 ka square will give me the area. Let us try to simplify this. So we got 4 by 3 into pi into 2 ka cube will be 8 divided by 4 ka square will be 16 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3 ka square will be minus 6. Okay. So what we can do is we can cancel this out. 8 1s are 8 2s are 16 and this will be 2 2s are 4. So what will be left with 2 into pi, which is 3.142 into 10 raised to 6. Ye 10 raised to minus 6 from the denominator upar aayega, so it will become 10 raised to 6. And then we got 3 over here. Okay. Now when you will divide this 3.142 with 3, you will get approximately 1.034s are 12 and then 22, so 7s are 21, and what we can say is this is approximately how much? 2 into 10 raised to plus 6. Why I am writing this as approximately? Because they have asked for nearest order of magnitude, and nearest order of magnitude over here is 10 raised to 6. So this is the answer that we have. Let us go ahead with the next sum. Nuclear radius r has a dependence on the mass number A as r equal to 1.3 10 raised to minus 16 a raised to 1 by 3. For a nucleus of mass number A equal to 125, obtain the order of magnitude of r expressed in meter. So let us see what we have. We have r is equal to 1.3 into 10 raised to minus 16 a raised to 1 by 3 meter. Now they have given a as 125. What will be a raised to 1 by 3? That will be nothing but cube root of 125. That will give us 5. So let us put it over here. So what we'll get? R as r will be 1.3 into 10 raised to minus 16 into 5. And when we multiply this, 5 3s are 15, 1 carried up, 5 1s are 5, 6. So we got 6.5 into 10 raised to minus 16. Now understand one important part. From the topic of significant figures, while writing the number in the power of 10, always remember that the first part of the number should be in the range of 0.5 to 5 only. So what we'll do is we will do some adjustment. We will move the decimal point towards the left. That means the power will increase and it will become minus 15. Okay, so we got radius as 0.65 into 10 raised to minus 15 meter. So this is the radius in meters. The order of magnitude over here is minus 15. So minus 15 is the answer over here. So let us go ahead to the next sum. In a workshop, a worker measures the length of a steel plate with a Vernier caliper having a least count of 0.01 centimeter. 4 such measurements of length gave value 3.11, 3.13, 3.14 and 3.14 centimeter again. Find the mean length. So to find the mean length, what we'll do is we'll just take the averages of these values. So A mean will be 3.11 plus 3.13 plus 3.14 plus 3.14 divided by how many numbers we have? 4. Okay, so when we calculate this, we'll get the answer as 3.13 centimeter. So this is the mean value that we got. Now next, they've asked for mean absolute error. To find mean absolute error, first of all, we'll find out what are the absolute errors. Absolute error in the first reading is given by the formula as mean value minus the first reading. Okay, now the mean value is 3.13 minus 3.11. This is equal to 0.02. Okay, similarly we'll do it for A2, which is equal to A mean minus second reading. Now this is 3.13 minus 3.13. This will give us 0. For A3 we have A mean minus the third reading. We got 3.13 minus 3.14. Now this modulus sign tells us that we want difference. Minus sign se kuch lena dena nahi. So we will get the answer as 0.01. Likewise for A4 also we will get the same value, because we have the same reading, right? Now to find mean absolute error, what we'll do is we will take the mean of this. So mean absolute error will be delta A1 plus delta A2 plus delta A3 plus delta A4. We have all the absolute errors. Take the mean of this. So you got 0.02, 0, 0.01, 0.01 divided by 4. This should give us 0.01 centimeter. So this is the mean absolute error. Now lastly, we are supposed to find percentage error. Percentage error is given by the relative error, and the relative error is delta A mean by A mean into 100 will give us answer in percentage. So we got delta A mean as 0.01 divided by what we have over here is A mean as 3.13 into 100. We will get as 0.32%. You can do it by log also, or by looking at the reciprocal table from the logbook. So let us go ahead with the next sum. Find the percentage error in kinetic energy of the body having mass 60 gram moving with a velocity of 25. Mass is having error 0.3 and velocity is having error 0.1. Now for this, let us understand what is the formula for kinetic energy. It is half mv square. Now mass is given as 60 gram. The error in mass is given as 0.3 gram, which is plus or minus. Velocity is given as 25 centimeter per second. Error in velocity is 0.1 centimeter per second. Now over here, once again, if you see, the errors are present in multiplication. So whenever you have errors in multiplication, to find out the total error, what we do is we find out relative error over here. So relative error in kinetic energy into 100 will give us error in percentage. So we will have relative error in mass given by delta m upon m into 100 plus relative error in velocity. So we will write delta v upon v. Now there is one thing over here that we need to observe कि यहाँ पे v नहीं है, सिर्फ v square है. So for this case, what you need to do is whatever is the power, just multiply it over here. So this is of the form z is equal to a raised to n. Okay. So if you want to find error in z, what you need to do is find relative error in a and multiply it by n. So this is the formula that we are using. Okay. So we got v square over here. So we will take 2 times relative error in v into 100. Now let us put the values. Delta m is 0.3, m is 60 plus 2 into delta v is 0.1 divided by v is 25 into 100. Now we can write this as 3 upon 600 and this as 0.2 upon 25 into 100. Now we can try to simplify this. This can be written as 1 upon 200 and this can be written as 2 upon 250 into 100. Now what we'll do is we'll take LCM as 1000 over here. So what we get is this will become 200 into 5 will give us 1000. Over here 2 into 4 is 8 will give us 1000. Okay? So this is how much? 13 by 1000 into 100. So 2 zeros are cancelled over here and we are left with 1.3%. Hope you all understood this, and remember these formulas that we covered. If you have z in the form of a plus b and you want to find the error in z, just take the addition of errors in a as well as error in b. If you have error in the form of a into b or error in the form of a by b, then in that case you need to find relative error, which is given by delta a upon a plus delta b upon b. So we did sums based on all three over here. In Ohm's experiment, the value of unknown resistance are found to be 6.12, 6.19, 6.22 and 6.15. We have to find relative error, absolute errors, relative error and percentage error. This is similar to sum number 6 that we did. So let us go ahead and solve this. I'll be writing the values directly and I'm expecting that you will try this. So the mean resistance will be addition of 6.12 plus 6.09 plus 6.22 plus 6.15 divided by 4 will give us the mean value of the resistance, and when you will solve this you will get this as 6.145. Our next part is to find the absolute error. Absolute error in the first reading of resistance R1 will be how much? That is given by R mean minus R1. So R mean over here is 6.145 minus 6.12. This will give us 0.025. Similarly, you can find out absolute mean for R2 also, and this will come out to be 0.055. Absolute error for third wala will come out to be 0.075, and absolute error for the fourth reading will come out to be 0.005. Okay. Now next part is to find mean of this. So R mean will be nothing but you will add up all these values and take the average. So first is 0.025, 0.055, 0.075 and 0.005 divided by 4. When you will solve this, you will get the value 0.16 divided by 4, which is 0.04 ohm. Okay. Now finally we are supposed to find relative error. Relative error is given by delta R mean upon R mean. Okay. So we got delta R mean as 0.04 and R mean as 6.145. You can adjust some zeros. You will have 4 upon 614.5. Now you can try this and solve this by using log, and you will get 0.0065 ohm. Okay, and percentage error is simply relative error into 100. So whatever value we got over here, we will just multiply this by 100. So 0.0065 into 100 will give us 0.65%. So this is the percentage error in this particular experiment. Thank you for your time. If you are finding this lecture series useful, then show us your appreciation by clicking on the like button, and don't forget to share it with your friends and classmates. And as you know, based on your feedback and suggestions, we'll be covering key concepts under our 5 minutes lecture series of class 11th. So please feel free to let us know the topic you want us to cover. See you all in next class. This is Professor Sandeep from Physics HQ signing off.